Next, we're going to talk about the cash budget. So if we look at the beginning cash balances, January was obviously zero because we have nothing from December. And now we need the ending cash balances from the months before to put in February and March. So let's just put in what we've got. Add your cash receipts. So we come back up to our sales budget, and our cash receipts are right here. This 150, the 515, and the 566. So let's go put those numbers in to our cash budget. So the 150 is there. Then we get 515 from February and 566,000 in March. Oops, that's got a 500 in there, not just 556. All right, so those are our cash receipts. We'll figure out our available cash when we're done. Next, let's go find what we paid out in inventory purchases. So let's go to our inventory cash payments. So that's this bottom line right there, the total budgeted payments for inventory. So we got 183, 290, 300, and 297. So let's go put those in. 183 is already in. So that means we put the 290,300 in for February, and then the 297,000 in for March. Selling and administrative expenses, we've got to go put those in. Let's go back to our selling and administrative expenses. Oh, that's right there. The 88,400, the 134,000, and the 140,200. When we look at purchase of store fixtures, we've got to go back to our problem. Right here, they tell us we had 700,000 on January 1st for store fixtures. And then they tell us the expected salvage value is 100,000, which then gives us 60 months of useful life. So we take 600,000 divided by 60, and that gives us that $10,000 in depreciation per month, just so that if you're wondering where that came from. All right, so we have to go back and put 700,000 in there, which they did. We have not purchased anything in February or March, so both of those will be zero. And then our interest expense. Well, if we look at the rest of January, we found that our total payments were way above our total cash available. So we had a shortage of $821,400, which then meant that since we want, if we go back up to our problem, they tell us that the company desires to maintain a $100,000 cushion and that we have a 1.5% per month interest amount. So to keep that $100,000 cushion, we're borrowing in evens of 1,000 or in increments of 1,000. We had to borrow $922,000. So to find our interest payment for February, we have to take that $922,000, put that right here. We'll put that down here. 922,000 times our 0.015, because it was 1.5%. When you do that math, that should be $13,830. So $13,830. So now we can find our total budgeted payments for February. Which gives me a total of $438,130. All right, so we've got all of the things that we need from our previous budget. So let's come back and let's finish our beginning cash balance. We know that we ended with $100,600 in January. So we're going to put that at the beginning of February. That got really big. So 100,600. Add that to our 515, and we get a total of $615,600. So that's our cash available. We subtract our total budgeted payments from that. We get a total surplus of 177,000. $470. So we've got a surplus, so that means we are going to repay part of our loan. So we're just going to pay it off, and it says, again, we need to keep that $100,000 there. Repayments, if we look at our directions, they tell us that we borrow in increments of 1,000, but our repayments can be made in any amount. So what we need to do is make sure that we have at least $1,000 left, or $100,000 left. So in order to do that, we can repay $77,470 because of the fact that we are able to repay in any amount. So that's our month of February. Well, now we know what we have left at the end of March, or at the end of February, so that's what we're going to start the month of March with, is just simply $100,000. When we add those two together, we get our cash available of $666,500. Now we can figure out what we owe for interest. Well, we had $922,000 in total borrowed funds, but we repaid $77,470, which then leaves us with a balance of $844,530. Take that times 0.015 for our 1.5%. And again, we're doing this in whole dollars because this gives us $12,667.95. So when we round that, it then becomes $12,668. That's what our interest expense is, $12,668. When we add all that up, so again, we're adding our 12,668, the 140,200, and the 297 for a total of $449,868. So again, we can see that we have a surplus. So we subtract those, we take 666,500 minus the 449,868. And find that we have a surplus of $216,632. So we again can repay part of our financing, and we want to end up with at least $100,000 here. So that's what we will leave, and we will pay off $116,632. All right, so now we need to figure out what of this cash budget's going to go on our pro forma statements. Well, we've got all of our operating activities. What do we pay out for operating activities? So the first thing we're going to do is add up all of our cash receipts. So that's the 150 plus the 515 plus the 566, which should give us 1,231,500. Now, so that's our inflow for operating activities. Now, what about the outflow for operating activities? We add all these up. Start with your inventory purchases, the 183,000 plus the 290,300 plus the 297, and we should get a total of 770,300. Let's do our selling and operating activities next. 88,400 plus 134,000 plus 140, 200, for a total of $362,600. Our purchases of store fixtures, that would be an investing activity. So that's just your 700,000. And then we get our interest expense of 13,380 plus the 12,668, which gives me a total of 26,048. Whoops. Sorry, I punched it in wrong. $26,498. And again, this is going to be another operating activity because it's interest expense. All right, so then we need to figure out our financing, which is when we add up all of our borrowing and then subtract what we've taken out. So we should find out that when we do 922, so our total, we'll bring this down here. So we take 922,000, subtract your 77,470, subtract the 116,632. And when we do all that, we end up with we have $727,898 left. And again, that is a financing activity. Those are our financing flows. And then we've got our ending cash balance that we need to figure out, which is simply this $100,000. That's our ending cash flow. And that is our cash budget.